to my channel. My name is Eve. This is Everyday Artist, and welcome. And this is Rogue. Yeah, I haven't said thank you to my new subscribers recently, but I do thank you for coming and joining and talking. And I love this community, and I've been I haven't been working as much these past few weeks, and I've been watching so much Flosstube, especially around market. Look. She's anxious to lie down. So I'm here to talk to you about my cross stitch and about my crochet, which isn't as much right now because I finished my blanket, but I can't block it yet because the room that I want to lay it out to block has got a whole bunch of stuff in there from the bathroom because they still have not finished our putting the bathroom back together from the water damage. Did I talk about that? We had water damage. And our I just moved back into my bedroom. I'm like, I'm not going to leave it torn up. They said it could be as much as a month. I'm not going to leave it back torn up. I'm just going to go. I've been sleeping on the couch, and yeah, I was like, I can't sleep. My sister, we don't have a sink in the bathroom, so my sister comes in and turns on the light so she can wash her hands and stuff, and I'm like, I can't sleep with lights on. So anyway, I figure I'll take everything out of the closet again when they come to fix it. So I'm going to sleep in my room. I am anticipating a market. I did buy more than I intended to for market. That Under the Sea really got me. It really did. And I'll show you everything I bought when it comes in. There's no point in going over it now, but suffice it to say that I spent more money than I intended to or than I should have. Okay, so for my crochet, I am not doing as much of these little granny squares because I can't. This one took me 3 days to do because I had to keep redoing it because I was doing it wrong. I was counting wrong. It took me 3 days to do it. I like the result. They're getting much more and more difficult as time moves on. And then this one is supposed to be the same size, but when I sewed it together, I don't know if I did it wrong or what, but it's much bigger than what it should be. At least it seems like that to me. Sorry, I almost had a crap-a-lanch there. And then this is the only other one I have. I worked, I have a thread hanging out. I'll clip it later. I worked on another one yesterday for quite some time, and I said, I hate this, I'm not doing it. And I'm going to move on to another one. I'm flabbergasted that I just gave up, but the instructions are difficult to understand. And this is a hobby, not a job, so I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time doing it. Now, this is a picture of a pattern that I saw on Facebook. And I was like, oh, that's pretty. And I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to pay for that. Because I don't want to buy any new yarn. And the whole idea of doing all these granny squares is to get rid of my yarn stash. And I'm like, that's beautiful because it's these specific colors, not necessarily the colors that they use, but all planned colors. And so I found, because I watch a lot of crochet and I've been doing market bags, one popped up on my Flosstube of a bag that was very similar. And it's granny squares, a big granny square bag. And so here is a picture of that bag. And that's what I started to do. So here's my progress so far. I have to make 3 of these. This isn't quite there. I have 2 more rows, maybe 3. So it'll be 3 times this. 1, 2, 3. So it'll be about this big. Anyway, that'll let me use up some of the stuff that I have a lot of. And the only thing I didn't like was the handle. And I mean the strap. And I watched another tutorial this morning with a different treatment for that. And I think I'll like that better. So I'm trying not to have another crap-a-lanch here. Now, this was on my WhipGo call to start. And it is, I looked it up, it's from 2004. Now I know I haven't had it that long because I haven't been following these guys that long. And I know I got it for a free pattern, as a free pattern somewhere, because I wouldn't have paid for it. Not that it's not cute. If it wasn't cute, I wouldn't have started. But I looked on here and it doesn't have a copyright date, and maybe it does after, below this. And I looked on their, this is from CrossStitchingForFun. I looked on their Facebook files and it isn't one of the free patterns there, so I don't know where I got it. But I know it's CrossStitchingForFun and I know I got it for free. So maybe it was off of Instagram or something. Anyway, I started it, and then I was supposed to be working on another pattern, which I'll show you later, but I wanted to work on this. And I finished it. And it is so cute. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to fully finish it. Except I kind of want to make it into a pillow, and I don't have my sewing machine. So if I made it into a pillow, I would have to do it by hand like I did Santa Claus. I could, but And this is on fabric that I dyed myself specifically for this project. And I couldn't remember if I showed you the fabric that I dyed. So my other new start for this month is going to be also from CrossStitchingForFun. This is Art Deco Winter. I have the patterns, but I do not have where I printed this from. It wasn't saved with my patterns. I probably have it somewhere, but anyway, I have a printout of each of these, and I just need to make sure that I have it long enough to finish it. This is the fabric that I dyed for that. And I'm hoping that it's dark enough for white and light enough for the dark blues and blacks and stuff to show up on. I think I have that happy medium on that. And then, I don't know about the rest of the country, but here we're having crazy weather. Oops. This is my temperature chart for this year. I'm doing the cats and the dogs. And this is Temperature Pets by JaceBreeze. We have an airport nearby. Sometimes the planes are quite loud. We're not right next to it or anything. It's just sometimes they fly over this way. And I finished February. See how hot it was at the end of February? And I started March, and it was hot, and then it was cooler, and then it got cold. Cold for us. Cold for us. I know you guys have been dealing with actual cold, but cold for us. I don't know why I'm rushing through this. I'll show you this in a second. Well, I want to drop it. Okay. So I have been slowly plugging away at CrazzyStitch. We do Geek. I didn't work on it today because I was working on the flamingo pattern. So I finished the Mockingjay symbol, and then I started backstitching around the Enterprise. I think that gold going around it's going to look really nice. I'm happy with that. I don't know what color I want to use to put, and the odds are ever in our favor. I may go ahead and just use that brownish blackish, it's called espresso. I may just go ahead and use that. I don't know. This is Cat Trio by Doreen Jones, and it was a free pattern that I got years and years ago. I don't know how long. Probably longer than I had the flamingo, but again, it wasn't 2004. I don't know what time it was. And I'm doing this one here, and I don't want to show the pattern very long. This is as far as I got. I would have gotten further, except I wanted to work on a flamingo, and I had a counting mistake, and I had to frog all of this. So the blue cat goes in here. I'm almost done with the green and yellow cat, but it's going to have to be put away for another time. And then my second whip go call for this month, 5 days on Wolf by Pigeon Coop. And I did work on this yesterday. So all the tans and browns that you see, that's what I put in yesterday. And a little bit of this purple right there, and I think I'm done with the purple. And then there's more tans and browns and greens to put in. It's not a very big pattern. I'm hoping to get this one done as well. I'll work on it later today. Now, I can't seem to win for losing with this pattern. I've been taking it on Tuesdays when I have to take my sister to orchestra to work while I'm waiting for her. And of course, you know that I did a lot of frogging. I did some more frogging very recently. And then this past Tuesday, I forgot it. And then I said, oh, I don't want to listen to my audiobook because there was a very loud concert going on. They pipe it into the main room, and I don't know why. They pipe it in there, and they pipe it in there at a decimal level that is ear splitting. And so I was like, I don't want to listen to my audiobook. So I got home, and I was going to listen to the audiobook a little bit while I was getting ready for bed and, you know, and all that. And no, it's not an audiobook, it's a reading book. I could have read all that time. Instead, I played games on my phone. So this is as far as I am. Now, when I started the green here, I thought I was starting up here. So I had the crosses going the wrong way. I had to frog that. And then when I was coming down here, I was wait, something's wrong. And I had to frog from this tree, this leaf up and fix it. Fortunately, it wasn't frogging very much. And I could have continued on with the leaf, but I was so bored of green, I wanted to do something different. So I will work on that some more tomorrow. Hopefully I will not forget my stitching again. And then I'm going to show you my Flosstube Frenzy patterns. I do not work on them as much as I had hoped, but I do work on them every time a video airs. Now this didn't air yesterday. I work on Americana Blues by Erica Michaels whenever cross-stitching, no. Stephanie and Pam. I don't know why the name won't get to me. Just cross stitch. I don't know why the name won't come to me. This is as far as I am. I've gotten quite a bit in the last month, but not as much as I would have hoped. So I find it still very difficult to work on 32 count. And I used to work on 32 count all the time, so it could be just this 32 count. I don't know, because of all the little flecks of color. Sorry, my son keeps moving the coffee table around, and now it's out of my reach. I work on this TinyModernist cute crocodile. I know it's not a Flosstube, but I work on it every time Fridays with Frank comes out. That's the sheriff's deputy here in Pinal County, and he's airs every Friday, as the name would say, and he's very funny. I love watching him, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch that every week. I might as well do something while I'm. So I pull out this, and you can't really see the white, but there is white there. And I'm not going to do anything to make the white more visible. There's white in the middle here too, which I have back stitching that has to go around that. Because in person you can see it well enough that I don't care. Because I need white for his teeth. So I should be further along than I am, but I spend quite a bit of time counting. Also on Tuesdays, because Helen D often airs on Tuesdays, I work on, there's a Hare in my garden. This is by Just Keep Stitching. There's a Hare in my garden by Hands On Design, and I work on this when Helen D airs because I'll pick that up later. Because the first berry I ever worked on was Helen D had the berry sal, the seasonal berry sal. And I am almost back to where I was when I started frogging bunnies. Very, very close to where I was. But they are in the right place now, so I'm very happy. So now, starting this Tuesday, I'll be putting in new stitches. That is exciting. When the Runner Stitcher airs a video, I work on Silent Night by Stitching with the Housewives. And I am up to the N. Now it looks like Silent Light. Now, I want to get to a place where I can have more blue snowflakes to put in, because there's blue around this, and then there's this is blue around, and these have blue edges, and there's a lot of blue in this one. There's a lot more snowflakes that I haven't done. There's a lot of snowflakes that I have done. So I did all of these here, but I still need to do these, this one, and all of these. I have decided to go ahead and do the scene down here. It'll eventually get done. But maybe once I start working on that scene on the bottom, it'll go faster. I don't know why working on the white just kind of kills me. But I do work on that for half an hour. I work on this on Saturdays when Stitching with the Housewives airs a video. And I should be further along than I am. I know I should, but I just can't seem to get a handle on it. I'm working on this house. Now, since you've seen it, I've put in quite a bit more teal. I put in the window and the door and all the lights in the windows except this one because I ran out of yellow at an inopportune moment. I'm just going to go ahead and do the blue down and then get to the rest of that yellow. I had the door started, and then when I was working on the windows, I realized the door was in the wrong place. So I had to frog it. Lastly, when Stitching Mommy airs, I work on my full coverage piece, Mini Snowman Snuggles. And because much of her work is full coverage. This is where I am. And if I remember, I'll put a picture of where I was last time you saw it so you can actually see the difference. But there's quite a bit more out here and quite a bit more down here. And I've tried to fill in here, but some of these there's just like one stitch, and I want to make it where there's more than one stitch. So that is my cross stitch. Now I did start thinking about when I get the patterns back from Nashville, what fabrics am I going to put them on? Now I have a lot of fabric, but these are all, well, I did pre-order the Raven. Is it called the Raven? I'm trying to think of the designer. It's by the same person that did the Bubble Seahorse. I can't think of it. You'll see it when I get it. But it's larger than what I normally work on. And, excuse me, larger in that you see how long it takes me to work on just like these Stitching with Housewives patterns. And so I was really hesitant to get it, but it's beautiful. Excuse me. And of course I ordered Goose on the Loose because I need another large berry. It's not a berry, it's carrot. So most of what I ordered was some of the Under the Sea patterns. And I figured I needed new fabric that I could dye. To that end, I went to Michael's and I bought some 28 count even weave. And they didn't have any 14 count in stock. So I got some 16 count Ada. I plan to do uh, I plan to do as much as I can on the Ada, but I wanted a piece of even weave in case any of them have fractional stitches. I find right now that I most enjoy stitching on Ada, and while I don't mind stitching on even weave or linen, this is a hobby, and I should stitch on what I'm comfortable with and what I like. And I like Ada. And so I do have some things I have on Ada that honestly they'd be better on even weave, like Wolf. There's so many fractional stitches in that, but it's doable. And so market is over. They're gathering up all the stuff and trying to separate it into orders and figuring out which ones to send out first, and they've got a lot of work ahead of them. So I'm going to try not to be too anxious. I'm anxious. I'm excited for them, and yet I have plenty of stuff to stitch in the meantime. It's not like I need those in order to stitch anything. Yes, I want them. Yes, I want to stitch them. But realistically, I need to work on the things I have already started. So I'm going to go ahead and realize that, and I'll allow myself to start one, maybe two. So that is all. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I needed to show you or talk to you about. I'm going to keep plugging away at the little granny squares. I was good at doing one a day, and this past week I've done 3, and it's not for lack of time, it's not for lack of trying, it's because they're complicated. And so I'm going to go ahead and keep working on them, and those that I find too complicated, I'll just skip those and work on them later. It's not that I don't understand how to do the stitches. It's that the pattern, because they wanted to make it in a little thing this big, the pattern is, some of it is like so small because they tried to cram it all in one little spot. In some of these, they have a third of the pattern, and they tell you, go ahead and rotate that all the way around the thing. It's like, that's not nice. And I understand that they were trying to make it fit on that small space, but there are others that I wish that they had done that with, like the one that I was really struggling with yesterday. I'm like, I can't see it. I can't see where they're telling me to put the stitches. And then I realized I did it all completely not what they wanted me to do. So I couldn't put the next level in correctly. So it's very frustrating. But I'll persevere. I'll get done what I can get done. And the others, I'm just going to set them aside for another day. And I'm not going to try to force myself to do one a day when they're a little more complicated. So anyway, thanks for listening, and I will see you soon.